Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something about a man when he's silent. See, most people think that when a man gets quiet, he's over you, he's done, and he doesn't care no more. But I'm here to tell you that ain't always the truth. Sometimes silence is the loudest cry a man can make. Silence from a man doesn't always mean he's moved on. It can mean he's hurting deeply. A lot of women mistake a man's silence for indifference. They think he ain't calling me, he must not care anymore. But let me tell you something real. When a man is hurting, when he's genuinely in pain, sometimes his first response is to go quiet. That's just how we're wired. We don't always know how to process pain with words. We don't cry on the phone or call our boys to talk about our feelings. We shut down, we pull back, we go silent. But deep down, that silence is screaming. You think he forgot about you because he hasn't sent a message? You think he's sleeping like a baby at night while you're tossing and turning? Let me break this down for you. That man is probably wide awake, staring at the ceiling, playing back every moment you ever shared in his head like it's on repeat. Every laugh, every argument, every time you looked at him like it was your world. He sees that. He feels that. And it hurts because now there's distance between what you both had and where you are now. See, when a man falls in love, really falls in love, he doesn't just walk away without feeling it. He may not show it the way you expect him to, but it's there. The pain sits deep in his chest. The regret creeps in at quiet moments, especially when he's alone. That's when your name hits the hardest. That's when he remembers how much you meant. That's when he realizes what he lost. And let me tell you, sometimes that realization is too heavy for words. So he says nothing. Some women don't understand that silence is a language. It's not always about peace or closure. It's about confusion. It's about fear. It's about shame. A man might be hurting so bad he can't even face you. He doesn't want to hear the disappointment in your voice. He doesn't want to see the look in your eyes that says you gave up on me. So instead of reaching out, he retreats. He sits there with his thoughts, his regrets, his what-ifs. And in that silence, he's wrestling with everything he wishes he could take back. Everything he wishes he could say but can't. A hurting man is not always loud. You won't see him crying in public. He won't post his heartbreak online. He'll keep going to work. He'll hang out with friends. He'll laugh at jokes. But when he's alone, that silence becomes a battlefield. It's where he fights against the truth that he still loves you. It's where he keeps pretending that he's okay when he's really not. And the craziest part is, he might never tell you. He might never admit that you still have his heart. He'll see your photos and feel a rush of emotions but won't double tap. He'll read your old messages but won't reply. He'll want to call, but he'll stop himself just before he presses that green button. Because silence is what he's hiding behind. It's the only shield he has left. He's not proud of it. He's not healed. He's hurting, but he thinks staying silent will protect what little pride he still has. He doesn't want to look weak, even though love already broke him down. So next time you wonder why he ain't saying nothing, don't be so quick to assume he doesn't care. Don't convince yourself he's over it. Sometimes silence means he cares more than he can say. Sometimes that silence is filled with more love, more pain, more regret than any words could carry. And if you listen closely, not with your ears, but with your heart, you'll hear what he's too broken to say out loud. A man's pride and ego often block him from expressing how much he still cares. You've got to understand something about men. We don't always come right out and say what we feel. That's not how we were brought up. From an early age, we're taught that being a man means being strong, being tough, not showing weakness. And for most men, expressing deep emotions, especially when it comes to love, feels like weakness. So when a man loses someone he loves, when that relationship ends, but his heart is still full, his pride becomes the wall between what he feels and what he's willing to show. He can still be in love with you, still aching inside, still hoping every day that you'll reach out, but he won't say a word. He'll act like he's fine, like he's moved on. He'll put on a face, smile in front of friends, even date someone else just to convince himself he's okay. But inside, he's torn up. Because real love doesn't go away overnight, and the truth is, he still cares. He still wonders what you're doing. He still thinks about the sound of your voice, the way you used to laugh at his jokes, the way you made him feel like a king. But he won't show it, not because he doesn't feel it, but because his ego won't let him be vulnerable. There's a fear that comes with vulnerability. When a man admits he still loves you, he risks rejection. He risks looking foolish. He risks being told it's too late or you should have said that before. That risk is too heavy for some men to take. So what do? They stay silent. They pretend. They hide behind that false strength. Because pride tells them it's better to suffer in silence than to be seen begging for someone who might not want them back. Sometimes a man will even convince himself he doesn't care anymore just to protect his pride. He'll block you, not because he hates you, but because seeing you hurts too much. He'll avoid places you used to go, not because he's over it, but because the memories come flooding in. And his ego can't handle the emotional wave. He'll try to erase you from his life while knowing deep down you're still in his heart. That conflict, that war between pride and love is what keeps him stuck. He knows he should reach out. He knows he should say something, but his pride whispers, don't do it. Don't let her see you broken. And if people around him ask, hey man, you miss her? He'll shake his head, laugh it off, say, nah, I'm good. But he's lying, because every night when nobody's watching, when it's just him in the silence, he's thinking about you. He might even pray for you, wish the best for you, wonder who's loving you now. But he'll never admit it, not out loud, not while his ego is still in control. The thing is, a man's ego is fragile. It looks big and bold on the outside, but it's built on fear. Fear of looking weak, fear of being vulnerable, fear of not being enough. So instead of reaching out and risking that fear becoming real, he stays behind the wall. He lets his pride dictate his actions, even when his heart is begging him to say something. And here's what most women don't see. When a man doesn't say he cares, it doesn't mean he doesn't. It means he's battling himself. He's trying to protect the image of himself he's built up. He wants to be strong in your eyes, even if it means staying quiet and letting you walk away. That silence isn't coldness. It's fear dressed up as pride. It's love buried under layers of unspoken pain. And sometimes it's that same pride that causes him to lose the very person he still loves the most. If he avoids contact, he may be protecting himself from emotional vulnerability. See, a lot of people take it the wrong way when a man distances himself. They think if he's not calling, if he's not texting, if he's not showing up, then he must be done. He must have moved on. But let me tell you something. Sometimes when a man avoids you, it's not because he doesn't care, it's because he cares too much. It's because seeing you, hearing you, being around you, it makes it harder for him to deal with the truth that he's no longer part of your world the way he used to be. Avoiding contact ain't always about being cold. Sometimes it's about protecting himself from breaking all over again. A man knows what you meant to him. He remembers everything. He remembers the way you used to light up when you talked about your dreams. He remembers the way you held his hand like you were holding on to the future. He remembers how safe he felt when he was with you, even if he didn't know how to say it back then. So when things fall apart and the love turns into silence, it ain't easy for him either. But instead of confronting those feelings, instead of facing the pain, he hides, he backs away. Because for him, being around you now feels like standing in front of something he lost and can't get back. He avoids contact not because he stopped loving you, but because he's afraid that if he gets too close again, all the emotions he tried to bury will come rushing back like a flood. He's afraid that one conversation, one glance, one moment with you will shatter whatever walls he's tried so hard to build around his heart. And if those walls break, he doesn't know what will happen next. He doesn't know if he'll have the strength to walk away again. So he keeps his distance not to protect you, but to protect himself. Most men don't know how to handle emotional vulnerability. It's not something we're taught. We don't grow up being told it's okay to cry, to feel, to express hurt. We're taught to be tough. We're told, man up, shake it off. So when real heartbreak hits us, when that love hits us deep and we lose it, we don't always have the tools to cope. So we do what we know. We disappear. We pull back. We avoid. Not because we don't feel, but because feeling too much overwhelms us. You might see him out there acting like he's moved on. You might hear he's been busy, working, hanging with friends, maybe even seeing someone new, but none of that means his heart is healed. A man can be surrounded by people and still feel empty. He can be in a new relationship and still be haunted by the memory of the one that mattered most. That avoidance is not just about avoiding you. It's about avoiding the version of himself that loved you, because that version is vulnerable, exposed, open. And for a man who's hurting, that's terrifying. When he avoids you, it's not because he doesn't have anything to say. In fact, he probably has too much to say. He just doesn't know how to say it without breaking. He's scared his voice will tremble, his eyes will tear up, or that you'll see right through him. And that scares him more than anything, because being vulnerable to someone who once held your heart, that takes a kind of strength most men don't know how to tap into. So he chooses silence. He chooses distance. He chooses safety. But the absence, the quiet, the avoiding, all of that doesn't mean he stopped loving you. It means he's protecting himself from a feeling he doesn't know how to handle. That's not weakness, that's survival. And behind that survival is still a man who's holding on to something he never truly let go of. He watches from a distance, checks your socials, and remembers the small details. Now listen, just because a man ain't reaching out to you, just because he's not calling or texting, doesn't mean he's not paying attention. Some men watch from the sidelines. They don't say nothing, they don't comment, they don't double tap, but they're watching. He knows what you posted yesterday. He noticed you changed your profile picture. He saw you smiling in that dress, standing next to your friends, looking like you moved on. He saw it, and it hit him. But he didn't react. He just sat there, letting the pain do its quiet work in the background. Because that's what men do sometimes when they're still in love, but don't know how to fix what's broken. He remembers the little things too. You might not think they matter to him, but they did. He remembers the way you take your coffee, the way you laugh when you're nervous, the movie you could watch 100 times and never get tired of. He remembers how you used to tuck your hair behind your ear when you were trying to be serious. He remembers how you used to look at him like he was the only man on earth. Those memories don't just disappear. He carries them, even if he pretends he doesn't. Even if he's out here acting like none of it mattered, trust me, it did. That man might be silent, but his heart still speaks your name. Sometimes he checks your page just to feel close to you again. It might sound crazy, but it's true. He'll scroll through your pictures, look at your posts, reread old messages you don't even remember sending. That man is sitting there in the middle of the night, fighting every urge to type something, to say something, to come back. But he doesn't. Not because he doesn't want to, but because he's scared. Scared he'll say the wrong thing. Scared you won't want to hear from him. Scared that you'll be cold, that you've moved on, that it's too late, so he watches quietly, hurting from the shadows. Men ain't always expressive with their love. Some of us love loud and some of us love in silence. Some of us shout it from the rooftops and others just sit in the background hoping you'll notice they never really left. He might be the type to never say he misses you, but everything in him does. He just doesn't know how to turn that feeling into action without letting his pride take a hit. So instead he watches. He notices when you're glowing. He notices when you look tired. He reads between the lines of your captions, wondering if any of them are about him, wondering if you still think about him the way he still thinks about you. And while he's watching, he's remembering. He's remembering that day you laughed so hard you cried. That time you stayed up all night talking about life and dreams. That moment when he felt like he had everything just because he had you. He thinks about all that, and it hits him harder than any goodbye ever could. But he keeps his distance. He doesn't say a word, 'cause in his mind, staying quiet is safer than facing what he fears the most, rejection. You see, some men won't fight with their fist or words. They fight with their silence. They fight with late night scrolling and unsent messages. They fight by remembering what you once were, hoping it somehow means you'll come back. He might not show up at your door. He might not text you at 2 a.m., confessing everything. But don't think for a second he forgot you. Don't think for a second he doesn't care. He's just in the background, loving you the only way he knows how, now from a distance. Silence is sometimes his way of hoping you'll reach out first. Now, I know that might sound strange, but it's real. Sometimes when a man goes quiet, it ain't because he's trying to move on. It's because deep down, he's hoping you'll be the one to say something first. That silence ain't just empty space. It's filled with hope, fear, and a whole lot of pride. He wants to hear from you. He wants to see your name pop up on his phone. He wants that message that says, I was just thinking about you, or I miss you too. But instead of asking for it, he waits. He waits in silence because he doesn't want to look desperate. He doesn't want to look weak. He doesn't want to be the one who loves more. A man will sit there and let the silence stretch for days, weeks, even months, all the while checking his phone every day, hoping that maybe, just maybe, you'll be the one to break it, because to him, that would mean you still care. That would mean he's not the only one holding on. He might act like he's fine, might keep posting like he's living his best life, but the truth is, he's hurting. And part of him is screaming inside, just waiting for a sign that you're still thinking about him too. Sometimes silence is a man's version of testing the waters. He's trying to see how long you'll go without reaching out. He's trying to see if you'll notice the distance, if you'll miss the good morning text, the late night conversations, the jokes, the way he used to check in on you. He wants to know if any of that mattered to you like it mattered to him. And if it did, he hopes you'll say something first. Not because he doesn't want to, but because his pride won't let him take that first step. Men don't like feeling vulnerable. That's just the truth. We're scared of rejection, scared of not being enough, scared of opening up just to be shut down. So instead of saying, I miss you, we sit in silence, hoping you'll say it first, hoping you'll be the one to take the risk. And it's not because we don't care, it's because we care too much and don't know how to deal with the fear that comes with that kind of love. He could be thinking about you right now. He could be remembering something you said, something you wore, something you did that made him fall in love with you in the first place. But instead of texting you about it, he keeps it to himself. He thinks, if she misses me, she'll say something. But what he doesn't realize is, you're probably thinking the same thing. Two people in silence, both waiting on each other, both hurting, both still holding on. And while that silence keeps building, the space between you gets wider. He doesn't want to lose you, but he doesn't know how to say that without looking like he's chasing you. So he stays quiet, hoping you'll send that one message that breaks the wall down, hoping you'll say something that makes it okay for him to say, I've been thinking about you too. He's not ignoring you because he's over it. He's not silent because he doesn't care. He's just scared. Scared to be the one to reach out and not hear back. Scared to say what he feels and be met with silence. So he does nothing, hoping that you'll do something first. And in that quiet, he's hoping love can still speak louder than words. Real love doesn't always walk away with noise. Sometimes it goes quiet when it's still holding on. A lot of people think when someone walks out of your life quietly, they must not have cared. They assume if he didn't beg, if he didn't cry, If he didn't fight in front of everybody, then he must have been ready to let go. But that's not always the case. Sometimes, when a man truly loves you and things start to fall apart, he goes silent. Not because he stopped caring, but because caring hurts too much to speak on. That's real. That silence ain't emptiness. It's full of everything he wishes he could say, but can't. A man might leave without saying much, and that doesn't mean he didn't love you. Sometimes the loudest love is the quiet kind, the kind that lets go, not because it wants to, but because it doesn't know what else to do. He may be silent on the outside, but inside there's a storm going on. He's thinking about you. He's remembering all the little things. The way you smiled at him when he walked in. The way you believed in him when he didn't even believe in himself. The way you made a house feel like home just by being in it. He doesn't talk about it, but he feels every bit of it. A lot of women think if a man doesn't come back, if he doesn't call, if he doesn't chase, then he must have never really loved them. But men don't always show love the way women expect them to. Some men love in silence. Some men leave because they feel like they're not enough. Some men walk away not because they want someone else, but because they feel like they failed the one they had. That's a different kind of heartbreak, a quiet one. One that doesn't get attention, but hurts just the same. He might see you out there doing your thing, living your life, smiling, glowing, and it kills him inside because he used to be the reason behind that smile. But he doesn't say a word. He doesn't message you. He doesn't interrupt your peace. That's love too. Because real love sometimes respects your space, even if it costs him his own happiness. He might be dying to tell you he misses you. He might want to call just to hear your voice, but he stops himself, not because he doesn't care, but because he does. And caring that much, knowing he might hurt you again or get hurt himself, that's what keeps him quiet. He ain't loud about it. He's not out here putting on a show. He's not begging in public, but in his own way, he's still holding on. Holding on to the memories, holding on to the feeling, holding on to the hope that maybe someday y'all might find your way back, but until then, he stays silent. Not because he stopped loving you, but because that love runs so deep he can't put it into words, and rather than mess it up, rather than say the wrong thing, he chooses to keep it inside. Real love doesn't always show up in grand gestures. It's not always loud, dramatic, or explosive. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it hurts in private. Sometimes it walks away without a fight. Not because it wanted to lose, but because it didn't know how to win. And that man you think forgot you, he didn't. He just carrying his love in silence, hoping it still means something, even if he never gets the chance to say it out loud again.